Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Client Side Chats. I always have great special guests, I have to tell you. And today, no exception whatsoever, we have Cari Elofson, who is the Assistant Director for the OTI here in Chabot-Las Positas, right?
Chabot-Las Positas, and
Ah,
now it's actually Cari Elofson-Callahan.
thank you. Congratulations. That's right. You did get married. So thank you so much. I appreciate the correction on that. So, hey, before we get into it, just a reminder to everybody, don't forget to follow us on your Facebook and our LinkedIn social media, as well as our Vimeo and YouTube channels. Cari, I have to tell you, we've been through some things. You and I have known each other for quite some time. We've actually been clients with each other,
Many years,
which is
yes.
great. Many years, and it's been good. I mean,
It
certainly
has.
we've enjoyed seeing each other, and I have, especially at the ASSP professional development conferences, now known as Safety 2021, 2022, whatever the year is.
Really
So
missing those.
yeah, I know what you mean, but
Yeah.
how has this whole situation affected you all? Because you're serving a community as well as having an operation to run. And what do you
Yeah.
see kind of going forward? So kind of give us an idea what you see.
Oh gosh. Well, I think going forward, I think we're going to see. I think we're going to see some in person. I think things are going to go back to in-person classes. But I think that having the Zoom or the video delivery, I think it's here to stay. I mean, at least I hope so. And there's a few reasons for that. Of course, I've always been one to prefer in person.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's really important for that the interaction between the instructor and the student and the other students in the classroom to network and you know, feed off of each other's energy and have that learning occur. But with the Zoom classes, we found that we've been able to reach people who had never been able to take classes before
Ah,
because even and it ranges. It may be that it's someone from geographically, even though we've got 13 different locations all over California, Arizona, Nevada, Hawaii, Guam. That's still a really big area. And we had people that said to me, I live in Northern California, but I have kids and I can't travel. So I've never been able to take courses. Or I live in Southern California, and I care for someone at home, so I can't leave and worry about getting home on time because of traffic. I
right.
have other commitments. So this allows me the flexibility to be able to continue my education and safety. So I hope that it continues. I don't know that OSHA will continue to authorize the actual
Ah,
OSHA numbered courses to be delivered in that way. Um, One of the things that was really, I mean, I can't say enough about the Directorate of Training and Education through OSHA. When this happened, when all of, the world went crazy, for us, that was March 16th. And some people had it a week before or a week later. But
mm-hmm.
for us, March 16th came around and everything pretty much closed down. And DTE, I was on the phone with DTE within a couple of days. And we were planning out already putting together a test to where we could pilot these certain number of classes for an online delivery. They were open to the technology, which has never happened before. As those bureaucracies and those government agencies are usually pretty slow to make change. So for them to jump on board and make this happen was a wonderful, wonderful thing. So there were 5 ed centers across the U.S. that participated in the initial pilot. Chabot-Las Positas was one of them, and between the 5 of us, we created the program that eventually was opened up to all the other ed centers in the U.S. and Puerto Rico. So we kind of set the tone. It was easy. It's always easier to deal with smaller numbers, right, when you're creating something like that.
Right.
So to have the input and guidance of the other ed centers as being part of that pilot team made it much easier to move forward, work out the bugs, in a smaller setting. And I think it was only maybe 2 weeks before, and don't quote me on the 2 weeks, but it wasn't much longer than that before, we had all the bugs worked out, and, it was being released, and OSHA was authorizing this kind of delivery to the other ed centers too across the US. So
Wow.
we were able to pick it up and make it happen. So it was pretty exciting. And
That's
me, I like a challenge.
Yeah, I know that's very true. You do. So
I jump
that's
in
not a
there, get it
bad
done,
thing.
and then I'm like, oh God.
But you do a great job with it. And I have to say, from what I've seen on the receiving end of things, that it looks like things came through very nicely. I would really hope that OSHA would consider these classes continuing to be offered through this kind of media, simply because, like you say, there are a lot of people who, because of family situations, because of traffic, or maybe where they live and work, that they're able to continue to participate this way. So I think you're right. I think this is a technology which has been around for a long time, but kind of we've been forced into it, and it's made us rethink another way of doing things. Of course,
Yeah.
it offers a different challenge. Safety perspective has to be so, but that's great, because otherwise what we run into is people dealing with ergonomics at their kitchen table, if you will, and that's not always fun. So that can lead to other things too.
Absolutely. We're learning. There are some of our classes that we just we've chosen not to offer, because we feel that we have to figure out that hands-on piece.
Mm-hmm.
You have, if you're teaching ergonomics, for example, you can't teach it just video on even if it is very interactive. The Zoom type of technology, there's a lot of fun things that you can do to play with it, but it doesn't take the place of feeling, touching and feeling a piece of equipment or a piece of machinery, or, utilizing a tool. So there's still a ways to go with some of those things, but the rules and the standards and the best practices, those things can be communicated using this, venue, this technology. And, they keep adding things, ways that you can incorporate games, and you can incorporate, all kinds of fun things. So as technology changes, it's going to be fun to see where it goes. I hope that DTE authorizes us to continue to do this. So far, they've extended it twice. So now we can do classes through the end of December, so the end of the year, 2020. And then they'll reevaluate to see, kind of where they are, and whether or not it's been a success across the board. I believe that it is successful. I think that different areas just have different communities, right? In California, you can go from Northern California to Southern California, and they're completely different. You can go from one city to another city, and they're completely different. They may be more open to technology, or less open to technology, being in the same county versus multi-states. So I think every community is going to be different. So you have to kind of take that into consideration.
Oh,
I
I
think
would
California
agree.
has been really anxious to get on board with this type of technology. So, and this type of learning. And we were forced to do it anyway. So it was something that many of us had talked about or thought about, or we've done meetings like this, and we thought, maybe what if we did a longer class, or what if we did something besides meetings? But unless you're forced to do it, there are so many other priorities and so many things that take the place of that change, right? And that's that development of something different. And so for me, having COVID it just kind of got me going and made it, brought it up on the priority list. and made it happen. So
Excellent. Well,
just like you, and just like
yeah.
many of, most
Our
of our
colleagues.
countries.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So, well, I'll tell you what, we're running out of time for this moment anyway. But I do know that you've done a great job in getting classes together to get information out. And so it's been wonderful, definitely to see that kind of a change. But
Thanks, James. It's
yeah,
been fun. Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. So anyway, thanks for tuning in and thanks for being our guest. I really appreciate it, Cari.
You're
And
welcome.
we'll definitely be talking again in the future on this. I think that'd be a lot of fun.